Promoting and marketing your book is inevitable. We need to do it in some capacity. You can't publish and pray for the best because otherwise you're going to be in for some real heartache. But what if you don't have the money? Or what if you have the money and you would like to spend it on other things rather than spending tons and tons and tons of money on promoting your books? Well, good news today. Actually, I'm going to talk about how to promote your ebook for free. In fact, you know what? I'm going to tell you how to promote your books for free in general. So you're going to want to make sure you stay tuned to today's podcast. This is episode 56 of the Self-Publishing with Dale podcast, and I'm just tickled to death that you would take a little bit of time out your day to go ahead and listen to me and talk about some of my favorite things in writing and publishing books that sell. And here on the podcast, I just elated. And in fact, today is just no exception to the rule. And I'm going to talk about one of those things that I just honestly, I think a lot of people take so lightly, and especially now more than ever, and that's promoting your books. But before we do jump into promoting your books, I of course want to tell you that today's episode is brought to you in part by Publisher Rocket. Save yourself all the time, heartache, and guesswork in your self-publishing business. I have easily saved hours on keyword and category research, competition analysis, and Amazon advertising campaigns where I put thousands of keywords that would otherwise take me a ton of time for me to put together. I just do it in minutes over on Rocket. Easy for me to say. Try it out for yourself when you visit dalelinks.com/rocket. And if you aren't happy with Publisher Rocket, you can return it within the first 30 days for a full refund. They don't sweat it. I don't sweat it. But I'm thinking you're going to really enjoy it, like most of the people that have invested in it. Again, visit our affiliate link at dalelinks.com/rocket to get your copy today. And also, I'm going to leave a link inside the show notes so that way you can go ahead and take a look at it for yourself. Here we are talking about how to promote your ebook for free. That's my favorite cost. I love free. Say it's just something about free that just makes me just giggly and excited. So what we're going to go ahead and do is discuss the problem. And the problem isn't just, hey, people love to go and just do promotional things for free. No, most instances, people look for free promotional opportunities because, well, they're cash strapped. And if you're cash strapped, you're probably saying, oh man, there's no promotional opportunities. But believe it or not, there really is. It's going to require a little bit of sweat equity and some time and some investigation, but for the most part, if you just give a little bit of yourself every day to some of these methodologies, you will find it pays off in due time. You just got to stay with it and be consistent. So I'm going to tell you 5 ways to promote your ebook for free. And keep in mind, this is not an exhaustive list, and maybe you've heard some of them before. And if you have, at least indulge me for the time being, and it might be a good refresher for you. So let's start it out with the KDP Select Program. You're probably going, okay, how is that a free promotional program? Well, when you enroll your ebook in the KDP Select Program, you're allowed 2 promotional opportunities in the free book promotion that you can have up to 5 days at a time. That's done globally. And then you also have something that's called the Kindle Countdown deal, which is only available in US and UK. You can have up to 7 days at a time and essentially mark your publication down X amount of dollars, and they will put a clock on your landing page that kind of creates a sense of urgency. So rather than them paying $9.99 for your ebook, maybe they spend only 99 cents. And that sense of scarcity gets them to want to purchase it a lot quicker. Now, those options alone seem pretty cool. The nice thing is when you start to actually get some results from that, Amazon starts to get behind you. Believe it or not, they start to get categorized in 2 different ways. If it's on a free book promotion, you're put into the free books, and especially inside your specific category. If it's on the Kindle Countdown deal, you're put into your specific niche for Kindle Countdown deals. And the more sales or downloads that you give of your given book, the more Amazon starts to promote it. This is 100% free for them to push that. Pretty stinking cool. Now, for some reason, you're like, Dale, nope, KDP Select ain't my thing. That's totally cool. I get it. I've got probably a handful of my books in the KDP Select program, but for the most part, most of them are not enrolled in the KDP Select program because I just didn't see as much of a benefit in keeping it exclusive to the Amazon platform versus publishing wide to various promotions, different publishing platforms like Apple or Barnes & Noble or Kobo or Google Play Books. Let's go over to option number 2, the way to promote your book for free, Facebook groups. Right, hear me out. Okay, don't ignore me on this one here. It's so important to pay attention. I'm going to start out with Facebook groups. It's just fantastic. It is one of the greatest ways to get organic reach. But you don't just simply want to go ahead and spray and pray for the best. Just jump in a bunch of groups and just start throwing all your books in there. What I'm going to recommend is, first of all, get into the Facebook groups and try to become part of groups that's specific to your niche. So if you're a romance writer, you may want to go into romance reading groups. Notice I didn't say romance writer groups, romance reading groups. Why is that? Well, if I go into a writer group, it's like going to a roofing convention and trying to sell people, roofing tiles that already have a booth set up for their own roofing tiles. No. We want to go and display our wares in front of the active readers or learn a little bit more about their insights. Here's the important thing is if you do join a group, be a person, develop relationships with people. Don't be weird, all right? Don't just simply go in there and be like, well, Dale told me go into a Facebook group. I have to do that. No. Be a human being. Go into some of these Facebook groups. Connect with people. Engage with them. Ask relevant questions. Answer relevant questions. Try to build some value and build that know, like, and trust factor. That way, when the day comes that you release a book, people are going to be tripping over themselves because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this guy's been talking inside this group. I love him. Oh, well, he's got a new book out. Well, yeah, this is fantastic. And here's a really nice thing is if you actually build some fantastic value and you go to launch your book, sometimes you don't even have to promote it within the Facebook group because they'll do it for you. They'll do it for you, which is so freaking fantastic. Now, the other way is going to be pump and dump. Now, when I say pump and dump, that means you can go join some of these other groups. Some of them are author-reader specific. So, for instance, you will find some groups that will be for, let's say, free Audible codes. And listeners will join some of these groups because they're going to be getting free Audible codes. Authors will join to go ahead and give that. Those instances are probably the exceptions to the rule. Now, how much results you get from those type of groups remains to be seen, but it is an option and something probably worth trying out for yourself. I would not spend hours at a time trying to pump and dump to a bunch of groups. Be very calculated and figure out which ones you get the best results with. And most importantly, keep an eye on the group. Stay active and figure out if it's going to be worth your while. Because sometimes you just pump and dump and everybody else is pumping and dumping to all these different groups. Well, just a bunch of people are shouting into a crowded bus and no one's being heard above the noise. So just a fair warning. You can try pump and dump. If you're a brand new author, maybe you need something like that. But give it a shot. Might be worth it. All right, number 3, influencer marketing. Now, you've heard the name influencer possibly tossed around. If you have not, influencers are essentially those that are involved in different platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and they have a following, let's say, of about 1,000 people or more, and they have the ability to reach a large audience and influence their attention. Influence their decisions, sometimes in the things that they're sharing. Influencer marketing is very interesting in that you can invest in it or you can be smart about how you get engaged and do some of your outreach with some of the influencers. So as a, for instance, this is probably not the best way to kind of put it, but James Ranson, here we go. This is a good one. James Ranson, actually a good friend of mine and a former guest of my channel over on YouTube, actually had a book that's called Don't Write a Crappy Book. And you may have seen it camping out in my backgrounds before, and it's for good reason, because I'm featured, of course, in the book, but also he sent me a free copy. He sent me a free copy so I could showcase it in the background. And the nice thing is it's passively driven traffic over to his book. So that's just a light example of he didn't have to spend any money other than sending a free copy of his book to me. And I think he'd already had the copy because it's all autographed and everything else. So that's probably one way you can do it. You can also reach out to other influencers and just try to stay active in their community. So for instance, good friend of mine, day one subscriber, Kevin McGuire, actually just released a book on how to make money online the legit way. You can look it up, name's Kevin McGuire. At any rate, when Kevin went to release a book and something that was relevant to my niche, I was more than happy to share it with my audience. I was more than happy to promote that. Why? Because it makes sense, because he's been building a relationship with me for so long that I would feel bad if I didn't actually help push his book. So just think about it from that standpoint of being active within an influencer's community. So that way, when the day comes, you've delivered so much stinking value that they feel like, hey, you know what, I need to do this for you. I want to do this for you. So just always remember that. I've said this before and said the Facebook groups thing, but I'm going to say it again here. It's just build value and presence in a community and then go for the ask. Because if you just go, hey, Dale, I've been watching all your videos and a big fan of your channel. Hey, could you promote my book? No, who are you? Like, just because you come over here and fluff my ego doesn't mean I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now, this is not a podcast, and I'm trying to encourage you to send a bunch of free stuff to me, folks. No, please, no. I'm not asking that. But what I am saying is keep your eyes and ears out for niche-specific influencers that work for you. So if you happen to be putting out a Werebear Shapeshift romance book, I'm probably not the best influencer to reach out to. I'm not going to have that audience that's looking for Werebear Shapeshifters. Maybe, some rather, small cross-section of folks here probably get into Werebear Shapeshifter, but for the most part, I don't have that audience. Number 4, free promo sites. Now, there are some free promotional sites. I'm going to make this real simple and real easy. There's 3 resources I'm going to send you to, and I've actually shared this in previous podcasts before. One of them is going to start out with Tom Corson Knowles. He's actually got a site called TCK Publishing, and they actually have an article that has dozens of different promotional websites. You can go over to that, dalelinks.com/TCKpromo. I've got the link to this inside the description. Also, Kindlepreneur, otherwise known as Dave Chesson. He is the creator of Publisher Rocket. Mentioned him at the top of the broadcast here. And Dave and I were actually just texting probably last week or the week before, and I'd asked him about that promotional, all the different promotional websites that he actually has an article on his site. And he says they're pretty good about staying up to date on it. So if for some reason a website is no longer on the up and up, they'll remove it. Or if for some reason something changes about a website, they'll change it on the article. So they try to keep that updated. You can take a look at that article at dalelinks.com/DavePromo. And then last but not least, good friends of my website as well as the channel is Reedsy. That's REEDSY. You can actually get a pretty comprehensive list. They actually even have a search engine involved on the whole article for free promotional websites as well as paid websites. You can go over to dalelinks.com/ReedsyPromo, and I will share that with you. And again, this will be inside the show notes right below the podcast here. So, hey, before we do go any further, if you want to catch any of the podcast recordings, believe it or not, you can catch it 1 week in advance over on twitch.tv/self-publish, where, of course, I get to chat with people ahead of time, ask a question of the day, we get to connect, we get to know each other just a little bit better, and you get to watch behind the scenes on how this all works. And you can take a look at that at twitch.tv/self-publish every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Daytime. So right at this specific moment that you're listening to this, I'm recording another episode. So that's the crazy thing. At noon every Monday, I'm launching a new podcast, and I'm also recording a new podcast. So you want to take a look at that. And of course, if you want to see how this is done, believe it or not, you can see it with your own eyeballs over the podcast. I actually do replays over at dalelinks.com/YouTube podcast. Yeah, there's actually a visual aspect to these podcasts now. Just started doing that. Alrighty, we've got one final tip here, and that's going to be email marketing. And you're going to be like, oh, Dale, email marketing? You know, it costs money to actually get an email marketing service. No, 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 no. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Hear me out, though. There's two different service providers and another service provider that will help you build that email list. So with email marketing, let me first of all, instead of putting the cart in front of the horse, why is email marketing important? What exactly does this mean? Emails are one of the best ways to get connected with your readers and take them anywhere that you wish to go. So if for some reason you're like, hey, I'm done doing Amazon, I want to go somewhere else, you can take your following with you. Whereas if you don't have an email list, you don't have email contacts for your followers, guess what? You leave your platform, your followers stay there. That's the scary thing about it. So with email marketing, you're able to get an email service provider like these two that I'm going to mention and any other ones that you can, pay a premium on, and you can take them anywhere that you go, and communicating with them on a regular basis is going to be key. But I'm not going to get into that. We'll save that for another episode. So there's two free options that I know of right now, and I'm sure there's some other ones that we can add to the list, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple of that I've actually tried before. One of them is Mailchimp. They will allow you up to 2,000 subscribers. Now, there is a catch to it. There's some bells and whistles and things that you are going to miss out on. So for instance, you don't have automation there. It's okay. You can have up to 2,000 subscribers. By the time you hit 2,000 subscribers, you should be earning enough in sending out email broadcasts that you can pay for the upgrade. Now, the second one is going to be MailerLite. MailerLite allows you up to, I think, 1,000, if not 1,500 subscribers with automation. They actually will give you all the bells and whistles. If you want to get either one of those options, you can go to dalelinks.com/MailChimp or dalelinks.com/MailerLite, and light spelled L-I-T-E. Last but not least, let's say you're like, okay, I've only got about half a dozen or a dozen different email subscribers, Dale. How do I grow this email list? You want me to do things free here? Beautiful thing is, and as of this time of this recording right now, there is an email newsletter swap website called Story Origins. Story Origins. It's run by Evan Gow, and Evan's just a very giving guy within the indie author community. I imagine he will eventually be monetizing this platform. He will be charging in some capacity, but for the meantime, what you can do is actually get connected with other authors within your industry, and you would send out an email promotion for their book, and they would send one out for your book, and you would both grow each other's email lists and promote each other's books, and it doesn't cost you a stinking dime. By the way, Story Origins, you can take a look at that. It's Story Origin, and there's actually a dot between the G-I-N. So it's STORYORIG.IN. So storyorg.in is pretty much what it is. Alrighty, so as we start to wrap up today's podcast, again, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out your day. I always love hearing from you, by the way. I get a few messages over on Facebook and sometimes by email. They're like, hey, I'm a fan of the podcast. Hey, drop me a line. Anytime you get the time, just drop me a line. It's Dale@selfpublishingwithdale.com. I just would love to hear from you and see exactly what you're working on and such, and let's get connected at some capacity. In the meantime, in between time, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I will chat with you folks next week.